friends. Hello, hi, how are you? I hope you guys are having an amazing day today. Hi. So today, first of all, if you notice any mess behind me at all, I'm moving, okay? So everything might be a little crazy. I'm trying to pre-film right now, so next week, first of all, it's gonna be my first week of classes, and I'm gonna be, this is just like a PSA, next week is going to be my very first week of classes, very first week of my internship, and I'm moving. Hi, it's editing me. Just to let you guys know, I phrased that horribly. When I meant next week, I meant when I was filming this, which was like last Tuesday. So actually it's this week. So this entire week of videos, like the week that you're watching, most of it is oh my god, this room is awful. Most of it is pre-filmed, just so you guys know. Because I'm doing all the things I listed before. But it's this current week that you guys are in. Okay. Yes, I'm stressed, okay? But if anything is like messy behind me, I'm trying to pre-film, but I'm also trying to pack my house. So if you don't get as many videos next week as you normally do, that is why. I am gonna try. I won't make any promises. It might be very difficult to do. Today's video is one I am very excited about, and this is, I feel like I've seen a lot of people do this video. It's definitely not an original video by any means, but I thought it would be fun to do. I think I've done a video like this before.
Maybe?
I don't remember, but basically I'm gonna talk about makeup that I'm glad I didn't end up buying. Like makeup I'm glad that I missed. I feel like a lot of times with makeup, there's not many things that we reflect upon that we're like, man, glad we didn't get it. It's normally like, man, I have FOMO because I wish I had picked up like the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette. You know what I mean? So I feel like FOMO happens a lot more makeup that is like limited edition, or makeup we think is limited edition, because nothing is really ever limited edition anymore in the world of makeup. But I wanted to talk about products that I definitely could still go buy. I'm just not going to, because even though I wanted them on first release, after thinking about it, swatching it, looking at it, really like reflecting on my purchasing, I realized I really didn't need to buy it. And I'm happier without it. My collection is happier without it. My bank account is happier without it. And so I wanted to talk about things that I skipped, and I could still go get them. I'm not going to. I'm glad I skipped them. So let's just get started. The first thing I'm so glad I never got into is Beautyblender. I am so freaking happy that I always was like $20 for a sponge. That's crazy. I'm so happy that I've always been like that, because I feel like I would have spent, people, like I know people that go out and buy a brand new beauty blender every like month. I'm like, that's $20 a month for a sponge. That's insane. Like, that's absolutely crazy to me. I'm so happy I never bought into the hype of Beautyblender. Granted, I feel like I get the hype of people getting hyped about Beautyblender, because as far as I'm aware, it was one of the first like sponges of its kind. So when I got into makeup, there was already the like Real Technique alternatives and other sponge alternatives. Whereas I guess when you were first starting out, like if they were the only people making that type of sponge, I can understand buying into that hype. I didn't have to go through that. And when I first started makeup, I was like, this one is a little bit different, because I technically got a beauty blender for my birthday. But when I first started doing this, I was like, I told my mom, for like my birthday, I put it on my list. I was like, beauty blender. I was like, a need, a necessity. I was like, you have to have a beauty blender. And then I got it and I was like, well, less about like, I did try it and it was like fine. It wasn't even, I honestly prefer my other sponges. I know it's very much personal preference, because I know some people absolutely swear by beauty blenders and think that there's like nothing better. I am so happy I'm not like that, because I save a lot of money, and honestly I prefer the more inexpensive sponges anyway. So yeah, I'm really happy I didn't jump. It's less about like not getting one at all, more about not jumping on that bandwagon. And like every time they come out, because I see YouTubers where every time they come out with a new color, the YouTuber is like, oh my god, I had to buy it. And I was like, why? It's not even like makeup where you can like collect it over time. After like 6 months, you cut it open and there's mildew in it. So you can't even like keep it to display, because it's a safety hazard. I don't get it. I don't get beauty blenders, and I'm really happy that I never jumped on that bandwagon. I'm really glad I skipped that. The next palette is the Morphe 39A Dare to Create Artistry palette. I'm really glad I skipped this for a number of reasons. First of all, I was really interested in this when it first came out. Number one, a lot of YouTubers were talking about this, and not even just Morphe YouTubers, which you expect them to talk about the new Morphe releases. A lot of people who didn't have Morphe codes were raving about this palette and talking about how good it was, how it was like everything you could need in a palette, and I was really, really tempted. And what's so interesting is what stopped me was the price. I just couldn't. The reason I fell in love with Morphe when I first started doing makeup was because you could get a ton of shades. They were pretty decent quality, and it was cheap. It was like 20 bucks for 35 shades. Like, I literally couldn't think of a better deal. I thought that was fantastic. Like, I thought that was so good. And when this palette came out, I was like, okay, but like, why is it so much more expensive? Because I'm pretty sure this is like either $35 to $39. So it was pricier than their other ones. It was much pricier. It was a huge price jump. And I just was looking at it and I was like, okay, so there's that whole little blue quadrant. I probably won't use that. All of those neutrals I have because they're in every palette. Those like reds and maroons are in the Jaclyn Hill palette, which I believe had already come out. Pretty sure I already had the Jaclyn Hill palette when this came out. And if I didn't, I already had like the Modern Renaissance. So I had reds and maroons. And then the only thing interesting was kind of those like grungy green mustard shades. Honestly, I'm happy that I didn't fall for the hype on this palette because basically they came out with a more exciting version of this palette, and that would be the James Charles palette. I'm not a huge fan of, so if it was this formula, I don't think I would have liked it anyway. So I'm glad I like resisted the urge. I really fell for the hype of like, oh my God, like if you buy this, you'll never need another palette again. Like that's what made me almost shell out the cash for this, because everyone was like, you will never need another palette again. It is the absolute best palette in the world. Like you can create every single look. You can't. I don't think there's a singular palette in existence except maybe those BH 300 pan palettes that can help you create every single look that you could ever want to make in your entire life. Like absolutely not. So I'm glad I did skip this one, and I still think it's overpriced for what it is, and that's just how I feel about that. This next one, it still almost makes me a little sad that I didn't buy this. I'm so happy I didn't, because it would have been for all the wrong reasons, but that Tarte Be a Mermaid palette that was shaped like a little shell. Okay, The Little Mermaid is my absolute favorite movie of all time. It's like, well, no, not my favorite movie of all time. I don't really like cartoons that much, but out of Disney movies, The Little Mermaid is my favorite because I'm a singer, and when I was little, I was a singer, and I wanted to be like Ariel, except not, because I would have never, you know what I mean? It's very, looking back, the plot is screwed up, okay? Don't give away your voice for a man, Ariel. Anyway, my little mermaid lover heart saw this palette and was like, like I just wanted to sing and like go buy it, and I almost did. I actually was in store holding this in my hand at Ulta, ready to purchase, ready to rumble, like credit card was ready, and then I was like, no. I was looking at it and I was like, it is the pop of blue effect. You have all of these neutrals. None of these are unique. None of them are special. Are the shimmer shades cute? Yes, but you have better. Like I literally was in Ulta just like walking around, because you know how you like have things in your hand and then you inevitably put them back? I don't know if that's just a me thing, but I always pick things up and then inevitably put them back after I have time to walk around and like think about my decisions. That's why I shop online, honestly. It's because if I were to shop in store, I really should only shop in stores, because when I go in store, I never actually buy anything. I'm way more likely to buy stuff online anyway, because I have time to think. I don't know, that's a different video. But anyway, so I like ended up talking myself out of it, and honestly I'm happy that I did, because at my soul I know, and you know, that I only wanted this because it looks like a shell, and honestly I never would have gotten use out of it. Tarte's formula, with the exception of the Tartelette and Bloom, is just not my favorite formula. The shimmers were nothing spectacular. I never would have used those blues because I wouldn't know how to mix those browns together to work with the blues. Like I never would have even used the blues. Nothing about this palette would have worked for me or been like good for me, except for the fact that it looked like a mermaid. Looked like a mermaid's home. So I am glad I didn't get that. Makeup that I've bought just for the packaging has never ended up a positive thing for me. I think maybe there's been a couple of times that's been a positive, but for the most part, that's like not a positive thing. It never ends well for me. The next thing I'm glad I didn't get, I'm very glad I did not get the Fenty Beauty Body Lava. I was so tempted. This came out right when summer was starting. I think it came out last summer when summer was starting. I was going to music festivals and I was like, I'm gonna glow. I was so tempted to buy this, but it's 59 doll hairs, and I just like can't. I never ever would have even made a dent in this product. Like never. I never would have made a dent in this product, because number one, I know I would have hated how it felt. I would have hated rubbing oil all over my body, because I don't like doing that in the first place. I hate face oils. I hate oils of all kinds. Like I don't like the consistency, the feeling on my skin. So I would have not even liked how this felt. I probably would have felt really beautiful when I wore it, but that would have like wore off. Like, and also in the summer, I don't know who I'm trying to fool. Like, I don't sweat. Like, I sweat like crazy when I'm outside in the summer. So there's no way any of this would have even like stayed on my body super well. I basically have the same effect by sweating that this would have given me, except like a little less sparkly. And I'm just really glad that I wasn't super tempted by it, because when it launched, everyone was buying it. Everyone looked freaking beautiful. They were putting it on with like that brush, and it looked like the most beautiful thing in the world. And I was like, that is like, I wanted it. Oh, I wanted it so bad. I still think it's really, really pretty, but I stand by not getting this. I think it was a smart decision because this isn't something I have a lot of use for. If I'm being honest with myself, I literally would have bought it for one music festival that was like, well, I go for like 4 days in the summer, and that's the only time I would have ever worn it. I wouldn't just wear it to like go to Wegmans, you know? I'm happy I didn't buy this. I think people that buy this and use it, like, you rock, but I'm not, that's not my journey. I can't put oil on myself just to like go to the grocery store. This is a relatively recent launch, and it's kind of bold of me to say I'm not gonna buy it. However, I'm really happy I'm not buying this, and I'm really not going to. This is the Pat McGrath Labs foundation. I know everybody's like, but you're bougie. Yeah, I know, but here's the thing. While this looks like it's good, and I've seen some really positive reviews, I've seen some so-so reviews, but I've not seen any negative reviews, which for a foundation launch seems pretty successful. I'm not buying this. And the main reason I'm not buying this, and the main reason that I'm glad I'm skipping it, and I'm just don't even want to start, is because if it's not that good, I'm gonna be really, really mad at myself for spending $70 on a foundation, right? And I'm doing this thing, I've been like the past year, I've been trying to be way more environmentally conscious and just like not return things unless it's like actually horrific or if I haven't opened it yet. But I've been really trying not to return things, so I don't want to buy it with the mindset of like, oh, I'll just return it, because like that's a dangerous mindset. Don't kill the environment. Anyway, so I don't want to buy it for that reason. If I love it, I have to rebuy a $70 foundation every time I run out. I don't know about you, but that sounds awful. Like, who wants to rebuy $70? $70. That is like my Wi-Fi bill. Like, that's literally more than my Wi-Fi bill. I could pay my Wi-Fi bill with this foundation. That's insane. Like, I can't justify the repurchase of this foundation. I can't. I don't even like to rebuy my like cheap foundations. Like my Makeup Revolution foundation stick, I love that thing. I'm rebuying it for the fall because I realize I thrive with that foundation stick in the fall. But I didn't even rebuy it all summer because I was just like, man, $9. I was like, that seems like a hefty rebuy. Like, I wish there was like a rule with like foundations and concealers that if you buy it at full price when you first get it, you can like bring it in, like bring in the container, and they'll give you the new one for like half off or like something. I hate having to rebuy complexion products. It is my least favorite thing. I rarely do it. I always am trying out new foundations because I don't like to rebuy things. I've yet to find my the Makeup Revolution foundation stick. That's probably like my holy grail one that I'll keep rebuying. But I've yet to find anything that is $70 good, and I doubt this would be. And if it was, I don't want to take that risk because I don't want to have to rebuy it all the time. So I'm not buying this, and I'm very happy that I skipped this one. Even though I'm sure it's great, I'm sure you guys all love it, and that's fantastic. I'm very happy for you. This is not something that I need. I think this next one will actually surprise a lot of people. So the Kaja Bento boxes are like actually my favorite thing in makeup. The shimmery trios are like legitimately probably my favorite thing in makeup. I love them so much. And Kaja came out with 4 new trios that were like 2 mattes and a shimmer, or 1 matte and a shimmer. So instead of 3 trios of shimmers, it was like mixed in with matte colors too. And when I saw this, my knee-jerk reaction was to be like,
I'm buying all of them.
Because I basically have all of the Kaja just shimmery bento boxes. I have 3 out of the 4, so I really love them and I use them a ton. So when I saw these, I was like, oh, sweetie, let's set $80 aside because like this is what we're doing. And then I thought about it and I was looking at them and I was trying to decide, like, if I was like, okay, maybe I'll just get 1 to start with, make sure I like the matte formula, and then I'm gonna buy more. And I was looking at them to try to decide which one I wanted to buy. And I was like, okay, there's like this hot pink and purple one with like this pink shimmer. And I was like, but that pink shimmer looks really similar to the pink Kaja shimmer I already have. And I have matte pinks and purples like this. and then I was like, that orange maybe, but it was the same thing. And then the only one that was kind of unique, there was like a deep purple color, and then a lighter purple color, and then a sort of like icy purple shimmer that looked very different. But then I was really thinking about it, and I was like, what occasion? I never really reach for smaller palettes, like ever. I like having a ton. I'm the type of person that likes to create like a look with one palette. Like sometimes I'll bring in a sister palette, or I'll bring in like a shimmer topper or whatever, but I'm not like trying to reach for 20 different things. I like all of my stuff. I like a look to be just like one palette. That's just kind of how I operate. And I was looking at it and I was like, I am never gonna just like reach for this for my matte shades, like ever. The reason I can justify the $21 price point for the Kaja shimmers is because they are so unique and so beautiful and so just like, they just are so transformative on the eye that I can justify it because they're also unique and beautiful. Nothing is unique or transformative about a purple, like nothing was unique or transformative about that. So I was like, you know what? Get me my, what do you skip with? Jump rope? Give me my jump rope because we're gonna skip. Oh, that made no sense. Okay, so this one was hard. Having memories about this one. This one was tough. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Glowgasm highlighter palette. This was so beautiful. Can't get over how pretty this was. This was like genuinely so beautiful. It still is when I look at it. I'm so happy I didn't buy this. This was like $75, I'm pretty sure, which is nutty. Like for a highlighter, $75? Like, and I was thinking about it. That's the part that bothers me sometimes when I think about my life. I'm like, I thought about that. Like in my head, I thought about justifying that. That's sick. So this is the Glowgasm palette. Even now I look at it, it's beautiful, but none of these, again, it comes down to, if I'm gonna pay like a higher price point for things, I really want it to be transformative, unique, something. I'm getting to the point in my collection where I don't like to just bring in anything. I like to bring in things that I think are going to add a value, especially with my powder products, because I have an abundance of powder products. And honestly, this would have added nothing. And realistically, everything I've gotten from Charlotte Tilbury, I've not liked. I got her Bar of Gold highlighter palette and it was trash. I returned it. It was like one of the few things last year that I completely returned because it was so bad and also so small. It was like literally this big. It was so small and it was so expensive. And then I have the Bronze and Glow like duo, and like it's fine. It's not $70 good. Like it's not that good. This is probably not that good. It's probably just subpar. And at the end of the day, I don't need, Lord knows, I didn't need any more blushes, highlighters, or bronzers. So I'm really glad, even though I was so tempted and even though I was so like ready to justify this money, I'm really glad I ended up not doing it, and I'm really happy that I like self-controlled. I looked past the pretty embossings and saw what was underneath and then was like, you don't need it. Okay, next. This is the Tarte Icy Betch palette. My friend Nisa almost sold me on this, and not to be a Betch. Oh, I had that joke planned, not to be a Betch, but I'm very happy I didn't get this. I think what I needed in my life was, at this point when this palette launched, I already had a ton of green shadows. Like I had palettes that had greens in them, and I was already starting to get more comfortable and kind of play with greens a little bit more. And what I really needed and what I really didn't have were blues. And I was gonna buy this because I was like, oh, it's like a blue palette, but it's not. It's a green palette with like hints of blues and like aquamarines, and also that weird white highlighter in the middle. I never would have freaking used that. So I'm really happy I didn't get this. But what I really wanted was blues because that's what I was actually lacking in my collection. So I waited a little bit, and what actually ended up coming out was the ColourPop Blue Moon palette, and I ended up picking that up, and that has sufficiently covered my blue category in my makeup without having to add more unnecessary greens, because the thing is I already don't really wear greens and blues. That's kind of the least thing that I'm likely to grab for when it comes to my makeup colors. So I'm glad I didn't bring any more unnecessary greens and only brought in the blues because that's all I really needed to begin with. So I'm happy with that. Next, I'm so happy I didn't get this because there's a dupe. This is the Glow Recipe Watermelon Glow Ultrafine Mist, and I was tempted by this. I love a good smelling mist. It's why I bought this thing, the Too Faced Hangover 3-in-1, is because it smells like coconuts, and that's like my favorite. it smells so good. Their hangover stuff, like, I hate the name and I hate the concept, but like, God, does it smell good. Anyway, but that's why I bought that. And so I wanted to get this watermelon mist because I was like, I want to smell like a watermelon. And I also was like I'm kind of getting more into like a dewy look, but I'm still not like dewy. I'm just like matte with like a lot of glow. Like, I use sprays now to intensify my glow, and that's kind of how I've been doing it. And so I was looking at this at Sephora literally the other day, and I was like, I should buy this. Like, this looks so good. And then I saw on Twitter, one of my subscribers, I cannot remember who said this, who posted that this was a dupe. One of my subscribers posted that there is an Ulta spray that is a watermelon spray that is just like this, like identical, and is like $6 or $7. And I was like, oh no, goodbye Glow Recipe Spray and hello Ulta brand. Because if I can get a dupe, because all I really wanted it for was to like, it's the same reason I like the Mario Badescu sprays. Like, I don't really think it did anything for me, but I loved, like, it was just an experience. Like, you get a nice little spritz, it like refreshes you, it brightens you, like, it's just a part of the experience. And I could justify it with the Mario Badescu sprays because they're like $7. So if I can get a dupe for this one for like $7, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to. And I'm so happy that there's like actually a dupe to something that sounds legit. So the final thing I'm glad I didn't pick up is this MAC Boom Boom Bloom collection. Now, I would never have picked up the whole collection. I'm just like not like that. I just don't pick up collections. That's never been my story or my life. However, I was very tempted by the pink and purple blusher highlighter thing. First of all, the packaging on this thing is me. Like me. The cherry blossoms, like me. My family lives in DC and I go there a lot. I actually have a little statue of the cherry blossoms behind me on my desk, and they have the cherry blossoms that are like the most beautiful things you've ever seen. And I was so tempted to buy this because it looked so pretty. I'm so happy I waited because I found this one is like, wow, I'm really glad I didn't just impulse buy this, and I'm glad I skipped it because I found out via Beauty News that the actual like glitter that was on top of it to make it a highlighter was just a spray-on glitter that went away after you did the first layer and then was just like a matte pink and purple powder. So it was supposed to be a highlighter, but it like went away and then was just like nothing. And I'm so glad I found that out before I went to go buy this because honestly, what a waste of money. Why does MAC do things like that? Like why do I feel like MAC is always the one doing like the shady thing? They're always up to something shady. Like just put out good products like you used to, huh? Let's try that. So yeah, that's everything for me. That's everything I'm really happy I skipped for whatever reason. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, or just like, or just subscribe, or do neither. Honestly, just so happy you're watching me. Thank you so much for being here. My merch, my social media, and everything I'm wearing on my face will be linked down below. And yeah, along with, you know what else is down there? A link to register to vote. You can go take part in the election. Want to go register to vote? You can go register to vote, and you can vote in your local, your state, your federal elections, all that fun stuff. And yeah, I think that's everything for me. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!